Hi. So yesterday in DT, we started thinking about what we would need to build and design our own model car, which is very, very exciting. And I hope you had lots of ideas yesterday, and I've already started to gather some materials that you're going to need to have a go at making your own toy car this week and next week. So first of all, before we go on to do anything exciting, I've got lots of things behind me today that I'm going to show you to have a go at practically making something. I want to just have a little bit of a recap on the names of parts of a car and what they are used for and what their uses are. So just have a little think, spend a couple of minutes just recapping what are the different features of a car and what we use them for. Okay, so hopefully you've had a bit of time to think, and you should have been thinking about features such as the wheels of a car. Okay, and we talked quite a lot about a car being a vehicle and moving people or objects from one place to another, and that the role of the wheels was that it would turn the car and it would help move the car. Okay, and we also talked about the wheels being on an axle, okay, which is a bit like a long rod. So here you can see on the end, we've got the axles. And the role of the axles is so that the wheels can turn, okay? And you can't really see it on this picture here, but you can see them sticking out on the end of here, which we're going to have a little look at and a bit more of an explore of today. Also windows, there are windows on a car, and there are mirrors on cars and doors on cars and boots, and obviously the chassis and the body of a car as well. So hopefully you've remembered some of those features, and I know that lots of you labelled your cars at home yesterday looking at that. So well done for doing that. So today what we're going to do is we're going to have a go at practicing and exploring how to make the wheels of a car, so to get our car moving, because obviously that's a very important part of our model that we need to do. So I've got a picture up here to start off and for us to have a little look at. So when we talked about our car before, having the axle and the wheels, if we take the main chassis off, the main body off, this is what is underneath, okay? So here we've got the wheels, which I'm just going to highlight here for you. And on the wheels, we put the wheels on the axle, okay, or what we call the axle here. And the axles hold the wheels so that the wheels can then turn. But we need something that's going to hold our wheels on our axles, otherwise the wheels will just fall off, and that would be a disaster because that would mean that our toy car wouldn't be able to actually roll. So we need something that acts as a washer, okay, that holds our wheels in place. And I've got lots of objects that hopefully you can find at home. You might even find some better ones than what I've been able to find in school. So have a little think about what we can be using to make these different parts. But these are the three things we're focusing on today. So the wheel, which is what are turning, the axle, which is what turns the wheels, and the washers, which is what are holding the wheels in place. Okay. Once the wheels and the axles have been put together, then a chassis can be added, okay, which can be added as a frame for the car. So if you have some time to do that, you might want to explore that a little bit today as well. But we're going to mainly focus on making wheels and axles, okay? So if we were at school, what we would have probably used is some wooden doweling and some wooden wheels and a bit of tape to try and have a go at doing these. And you might be fortunate enough to have some of this lying around. I'm also very aware that a lot of you probably don't. So I've tried to put together a list of things that you might have at home that you can use as the axles and for the wheels. So I've got a list of objects here. So I've got some straws that you might be able to use. So we just want a long cylinder if possible, okay, but a flat object such as a lollipop stick would be fine. We've got pencils or pens if you've got anything like that at home, or some cocktail sticks, or even some skewers, okay, so anything like this that you can find at home would be perfect. In terms of the wheels, the things we were thinking you might be able to find, and this is where you need to get your mum and dad to keep things back and don't start recycling, is bottle lids, okay, or milk carton lids. So lids are a really good thing that we can use as our wheels on our objects. You might even have glue sticks. Now, glue sticks can actually be used as the axle, or the lids themselves can be used as wheels as well. So have a look, see if you've got any glue sticks lying around from where you've been doing your crafts at home. Old CDs or DVDs can be used for the wheel because the axle can go there through the middle. Or scrunched up foil. If you've got lots of foil, then you can scrunch that up and roll that into a shape, which means that you can have a go then at shaping that into a wheel. So I'm going to get rid of my screen and you're going to see my lovely face for a little bit. And we're going to have a go, I'm going to have a go at showing you how to make axles and wheels at home. So on the table behind me, you can see that I've got lots of things that I found in school, and some of which you might have as well at home. So for example, here, I've got a paintbrush, which you might be able to use as the axle. I've got some straws, so you might have some straws at home. I've got cocktail sticks. I've got pencils and pens. I've got some lollipop sticks over there, and I've got some glue sticks as well. So they're all the things that I've gathered that I want to have a little explore with now to try and make the axle for my car on my wheels. Then I've had a little look at the wheels that I want. So in order for them to be able to turn smoothly and not have lots of jolts in it, I want a smooth curved edge on my wheels. Okay, so I've been looking at what I can find that might have that. I've got some tape because that's a nice curved edge. However, if I got a paintbrush and tried to put that through as my axle, it'd be too wide. So that wouldn't necessarily work. But we could use this, okay, as our washer to hold our wheels on. And I've got some other sellotape. I've got some small, if you can see them there, some little wooden blocks, okay, and they've got holes in the middle. So they might be quite good to use as my wheels. I might use those in a minute. I've also got some lids that I could take off my glue sticks. They could be used as the wheels. I've also got some lids off paint pots. Okay, so if you've got any jars at home, you might be able to use the lids. And if they don't have a hole through them, don't worry, because you can stick the doweling in them, the axle in them with some blue tack. All right. I've also got some cotton wheels that I really like using. And I've actually had a go at making my axle using these as wheels, which I'll show you here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a go at doing two things, right? And you can use as many different objects you've got at home to have a go at doing this job. And some of them might work and some of them might not. But that's all the whole point in trying to be a designer. So don't worry if some of them work and some of them don't. So I'm going to get some con wheels and I'm going to use these objects as my wheels on my axle. Then I need an axle. So I'm going to check. Could put my paintbrush in. If I put my paintbrush in, then actually I don't need a washer because it fits and holds it in place. However, I want two wheels on my axle, so that doesn't work. Let me see if I can get a thinner one. Here we go. So here I've got my paintbrush with my cotton reel on that goes straight through. However, I need something to hold it in place, so a washer. So I'm going to put my wheel here and my axle here. I'm going to get some tape. And all I'm going to do is get some tape, and this might take a bit of trial and error, so don't worry. And I'm just going to try and stick this wheel in place so that it can't reel off it. So I'm just wrapping my tape around and acting as sort of like a blocker to hold my wheel. So if you can see there, it can't fall off. But I'm going to do it on the other side as well, otherwise it will just fall down. So I'm going to get my tape again. I'm going to tap it round and stick it on. If you don't have any tape at home, you could do this with lots of different things. So, for example, you could do it with blue tack, if you've got blue tack. You could do it with Play-Doh, if you've got Play-Doh. You might even have some elastic bands. I've done one over here, which I'll show you in a minute, with some elastic bands, and that holds it in place as well. So as you can see now, possibly a bit too well, I've got my wheel stuck in place, okay? So now I'm going to get my other cotton reel and do exactly the same thing, but space it out a little bit. Because if you look at a car, they're not really, really close together. Okay, so we're spreading that weight across them, otherwise the car would be off balance. So I'm going to, yet again, create my washer. So sticking it here, wrapping it round like this, sticking it down so it can't move, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So pop it there, leave it a little bit of space so it's not stuck in, and wrap it round again. I'm not doing it too tightly, just so that then it blocks it off. Okay, so now is the big test. So it might not work because I have a feeling that wash, there we go, that washer stuck it down, but I'm going to try and roll it across the table. Are you ready? Let's see if it works. Let's move these off the place. Try and roll it. Can you see? Let's try it. Ready? Ah. Okay, so as you can see, it is rolling across the table. So I would say that's quite a good design product because it means that it's done its job. It means it can wheel. So hopefully, if the chassis was on, it would do the same as well. Now, I've made some other ones earlier as well out of other objects. So here, I've got another one that I have made, and I've used a pencil as my axle instead this time, and then I've used my elastic bands as stoppers to hold the wheels in place. All right, let's check to see how well this one works. I'll move that one out of the way. Hopefully you can see it. Ooh, and I feel like that one has a smoother ride than the other one. So maybe that one is a bit better if you can see it rolling across the table. So I am hoping that now you've got lots of ideas about things that you can use at home to have a go at making an axle with some wheels on it for your toy car. Now remember, you can be as creative as you can. Try using lots of different objects and try and make lots and lots of different axles because you want to use the best one that you can. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you another screen now. So once you've had a go at making your axles and your wheels, I want you to then reflect on the project that you have done. So think about how effective it was. So did it work? Maybe it didn't. Maybe that's because the wheels weren't close enough to the washer, so the wheels fell off. Maybe the washers didn't hold the wheels in place. Possibly the axle might have been too big for the wheels, which meant it was too bumpy. Or maybe the wheels weren't smooth enough, so the wheels itself, the toy wasn't as smooth as it could have been when it was moving along. We've popped together a little sheet here for you to start thinking about the product that you have made. So once you've had a bit of an explore, this lesson's got two parts to it. So the first part is to have a go at making the axles and the wheels, and try and do that first. Then once you've done that, then I want you to come back here and have a little look at drawing and labeling your axle. So if I was going to be doing mine, for example, here is my axle, and I'm going to draw my paintbrush. And I'm sure you will all be fabulous artists as opposed to my unusual drawings. So here is my paintbrush, and then I've got my cotton reels on them. I'm going to use a different colour. I'm just going to use red, but it doesn't matter too much whether you've got different colours at home or not. There we go. And then here we've got a sentence that says, I have used. So what you might want to do is start labelling your picture so you can say the different objects you have used to make your axle and wheels. Oh, you know what I've not drawn? My washer on here. So I had sellotape, didn't I? Okay, so you can be labelling all those. And then underneath on the lines here, we can be using this sentence start, I have used, and I can say a paintbrush or the axle. Okay, you also might want to say whether you think it was effective or not. So quite a big job to do this afternoon, but it's really important that you start thinking about which materials can be used to make your model for your car, because when we actually build it, hopefully it will work. Okay, so start thinking about all the resources and start gathering those things now. Don't forget to show me some pictures or even some videos, which I would love to see, of you testing your wheels out and checking whether your model works. Okay, and send this work all across to our email addresses so we can have a look at how you've got on. Have fun trying this out, and I'll see you soon.